Hello, I'm Julian from Bishop Sullivan, the letting specialists in Brighton Hove, and this week it's a bit of a rant. I'm sorry. But the government approach to the private rental sector is madness, just madness, and it reminds me a bit of Brexit. Oh, sorry, that's another video. But what's going on in lettings? Well, rents have increased a massive 1.8% across the UK since the 1st of June, but what could have caused such a jump? The Tenant Fees Act has been great for tenants and the market in that it's aligned the PRS with other consumer-driven markets. It's reduced upfront costs for tenants, making moving easier. That's the upside. But, confirmed by a Good Lord survey, 90% of letting agents will be suffering an average annual loss of 30%. This means a likely decrease in service standards as staff are shed, and it also means landlord fees are increasing. And how will they make up that loss? Now, most agents increase landlord fees by 2%. So the aforementioned 1.8% increase makes sense. Legislation always has unintended consequences. For example, now that deposits have been capped at 5 weeks, pet owners are really struggling to find a new home. And the 10% of landlords who accepted pets before the Tenant Fees Act has now dropped to 2%, according to Zoopla stats. This is the aftermath of just one piece of legislation. Although rents are rising, the rent is still below RPI, so they're actually decreasing in real time. And that means continual calls for rent caps is just another route to unintended consequences, a black market being the most likely in this instance. Now, since the credit crunch, government has championed tenants and marginalised landlords, winning votes from the former and taxing the latter. That's the game. But landlords have been continually hit by new regs, each time reducing the profit margin. We've had an additional 3% stamp duty land tax added to second plus home purchases. We've had Section 24 taxing income on rental property turnover, not profit. Madness. The minimum energy efficiency standard, or MEES, for EPC renewals since 2018 as well. Two of our landlords were recently caught out by these draconian regs, and they had to spend £12,000 between them to add much disliked night storage heaters rather than energy efficient heaters at 30% of the cost. Madness. We've also got citywide licensing in many boroughs across the UK, costing £500 or more per 5-year licence. Now, Brighton's a great example. They want to license all 27,000 PRS properties, which is 5.3 million revenue per year. Just how do they expect their 10 staff to inspect these properties? Or is it just about the cash? Government also planning to scrap Section 21, the landlord's route to repossessing their property. To sell due to arrears or antisocial behaviour are the main reasons for serving the notice. And the government's own stats show that 11.8% of households face homelessness due to Section 21 in December 18. That's small. Essentially, the lack of social housing, economic pressures, and the top reason are family and friend relationships being the main drivers for homelessness. So does Section 21 really need to be changed? When this proposal was announced by government, there was another wave of landlords throwing in the towel. And all these regs that I've mentioned are causing some landlords to sell and others to invest their hard-earned cash in another market. Essentially, stock is reducing. Now, renting is a lifestyle choice now for a large portion of tenants, and the only choice for others. The strong demand will not be reducing anytime soon. So when you have a high demand and a low supply, what happens to the price? The question is, who is causing rents to increase? Is it greedy landlords and letting agents as the media portrays, or is it government legislation? Is it helping or hindering tenants? It's madness. But if you're a landlord in a position where you do not need to sell, then all I can say is welcome to the house of fun. It's not your fault, so you might as well enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Julian from Bishop Sullivan.